Good morning, and thank you for joining me for In the Know on the Go. Maximize your time with Paragon Connect. My name is Wendy Huckins, and I'm the training specialist here at Prime MLS. All of our webinars are available for all of our Prime members to attend. And if you happen to be a New Hampshire licensee, you can additionally earn 1 CE for this morning's webinar. And I'll be explaining how that process will work in just a moment. Now, all of our webinars are conducted in a listen only mode, and that means everyone is muted. So if you have questions over the next hour, you will want to find that chat button. Open up that chat button now so that if you have those questions, you can type those questions in to that chat box. I will get your questions in real time, and I'm more than happy to answer them as they come in. Additionally, I can stay at the conclusion of the webinar and answer questions at that time as well. Now, all of our webinars are available for all of our members to attend. And if you happen to be a New Hampshire licensee, here is how you can earn that 1 CE. At the conclusion of this webinar, I'm going to be sending out an email with access to a quiz. If you're a New Hampshire licensee, that is where you're going to want to access and take that quiz. If you pass the quiz with 80% or higher, that is how you earn that 1 CE. Now, keep in mind that the quiz is only applicable to New Hampshire licensees. The other states are not currently offering CE credit at this time because our Zoom format does not meet their requirements. And that quiz is always completely optional. So if you're a New Hampshire licensee that has no interest in earning that 1 CE, you do not have to take that quiz. And by the way, this is the last time we will be teaching this class because we have been approved by New Hampshire OPLC to expand on this class. There is so many new features in Paragon Connect. Starting next month, we will be offering a 2-hour 2 CE for New Hampshire licensee credit class. And that class will be Paragon Connect, mobile, and more. And even better news for you New Hampshire licensees, there will be no quiz requirement. So as long as you are in the 2-hour session, you'll be able to earn that 1 CE. Same with this class today. Anybody who's in the full session is going to receive that email with that quiz access. Just remember, it's only applicable for New Hampshire licensees who want to earn that credit. By the way, every quiz does have an expiration date. So if you want to potentially earn that 1 CE as a New Hampshire licensee, make sure you start and finish that quiz by Monday, June 17th at 5 p.m. when that access to the quiz will expire. With the quiz expiring on Monday, you can expect those affidavits to go out throughout next week. However, within 30 minutes or so, if you don't receive that email with the quiz access and you think you should have it, please reach out to training@primemls.com and we'll help you figure out where that quiz access is. Also, if you need your affidavit because your license is due to expire and you're trying to earn those CEs quickly and you need it sooner rather than later, once again, reach out to training@primemls.com and I can put a rush on that for you. Now that we've covered all that, we can get down to the meat of what we want to talk about, and that is letting you know all these great features that are in Paragon Connect. So let's start with what is the difference between Paragon Professional and Paragon Connect? Well, Paragon Connect is your next generation of Paragon, and it was built to be responsive and able to be used on any device. That means if you are on a smaller screen like a phone or a tablet, you can access Paragon Connect and it's going to look exactly the way it looks. And you're going to have the same functionality as though you're accessing on a larger screen. Of course, anytime you're looking at a smaller screen, you do have to scroll more to see the information, but it will all be there for you. So start using Paragon Connect on your larger screens like your PCs and your laptops. That helps you get familiar with the product. And then when you jump to that smaller screen, it's going to be a lot easier to navigate. We'll be covering most of the class on a larger screen, but at the end of the webinar, I'll be jumping onto my phone so I can show you a few features and how you can access Paragon Connect on your phone. Now, speaking of access, there are many ways to access Paragon Connect, and I'll be showing all of those ways to you. You can access from your dashboard. You can access Paragon Connect when you're inside of Paragon Professional. And of course, you can download the app and access Paragon Connect on your phone. And we have all those instructions for you on your help desk. So let's jump over to your dashboard, start talking about access, and start giving you information about getting to that help desk, because your help desk is going to be a great way to review the information that we covered this morning. So, first off, here on your dashboard, I want to point out under additional links, you have that access into Paragon Professional, and then there is your access into Paragon Connect. You also have multiple ways to get to your dashboard, your help desk from your dashboard. And your help desk is going to be providing you all that information, such as downloading Paragon Connect as an app. You have the ability to watch previously recorded webinars. And that's also where you're going to see all of our videos that we have available for you that will help you with different functions, not only of Paragon Connect, but Paragon Professional. But remember, you also have this link under quick links to your Prime MLS YouTube channel. And that is also where you're able to find those recorded webinars and any of those videos we do on the functions of Paragon. So multiple ways to get help. I'll also show you where you have access into Paragon's help site. So lots of ways to get additional information if you're using the system and you have some questions. Now, if you click on your help desk access here or here, either one of those buttons are going to take you right to your Prime MLS help desk. This is where you're going to find those previously recorded webinars. So if you wanted to rewatch this webinar, you'd be able to come down and click in the know on the go, maximize your time with Paragon Connect. You also have access to bite-sized pieces of information about the system and rules. And of course, you can reach out to staff via live chat and creating a ticket if you have additional questions. So I mentioned you can download Paragon Connect as an app. So if I go behind that Paragon Connect button, I have that information here, plus many of the subjects we're going to cover over the next 50 minutes or so. So remember, anytime you have additional questions, not only can you go to your Prime MLS YouTube channel, your Prime MLS help desk, but then also Paragon also has a help desk to provide you with those answers so you can be taking advantage of all these great features of Paragon Connect. So since we're talking so much about it, we definitely want to eventually get to Paragon Connect, right? And I mentioned that you do have that access not only on your dashboard, but if you're in Paragon Professional, notice how a new tab has been added to your top menu options. And that jumps you right into Paragon Connect from here. And by the way, if you ever need to get back to your dashboard, this is a newly added button here in your center section that will get you back to your dashboard. And you also have that access to our help site from here as well. We're going to open up Paragon Connect, and this would be my same view if I clicked on Paragon Connect on my dashboard. I'm going to give this page just a moment to load for me, and then we're going to start in the top right corner and just kind of do a quick overview of your Paragon Connect homepage. And now that that information has loaded, I'm going to start right up here in my top right corner. Notice I have that little flame with that little pink dot. And if I kind of hover near that icon, this lets me know these are my hot sheets. We have a full video on your help desk talking about your hot sheets. And we'll come back up here and I'm going to give you a little bit more information and let you know why I think you're going to love hot sheets here in Paragon Connect. after we do this first overview. You have another icon here. That's your megaphone. That's going to be all those pop-up messages you see when you log into Paragon Professional. That's where we let you know about training opportunities, any system downtime, office closure. You're going to have access into those messages here as well behind your megaphone. When you hover over kind of this lightning bolt magnifying glass icon, this is your power search. And we'll talk about using your power search here in Paragon Connect and how that gets you to pieces of information you're looking for even faster. And you also have a map access icon. The map in Paragon Connect is called Near Me because it is based on your location. So we'll be diving in to your Near Me map in just a moment. As I continue across the top, notice I am now on my top left-hand corner, and we like to call this your hamburger menu. So if you click on your hamburger menu, now you're going to see all those familiar main menu options that you're used to seeing run along the top of Paragon Professional. But we won't be diving too much into your hamburger menu this morning because really your Paragon Connect homepage is designed to give you access to the pieces of information you're going to use the most. So you're not going to have to open up that hamburger menu and then come down here and access it via this menu. But this is where I can point out that you have access to that Paragon help site. So if you need help, you can come here. And you've also got that assume identity function, same as you have in Paragon Professional. And you're just accessing it behind the hamburger menu in that little top section. I'm going to go back to my home page. So I'll click on home and we'll close up that hamburger menu. And now we are looking at my photo. You can add information here and change your photo just like you can in Paragon Professional. And that would be behind the hamburger menu down in settings. Notice under my photo, I have both a buyer's tab and a seller's tab. So we'll be talking more about the seller tab in a bit. And then my center section here in Paragon Connect is really devoted to what my contacts are doing. And it gives me a quick overview of any actions they're taking in their collaboration center. And I'm going to be seeing this information and those actions over the last 7 days. So notice I have some different color bubbles around my very busy contact, Dave Grohl, and it lets me know that he has made 2 properties a favorite, possible properties 2 as well, and then he rejected 1 property. He has also sent me a comment and created his own saved search in his collaboration center. And I can see what all these color bubbles mean by this legend here. All these color bubbles are also clickable. So if I wanted to see details on the 2 properties he made a favorite, I can click on that and get those property details. Now notice it lets me know Dave has sent me a message, and I'm also going to see that information here under unread messages as long as I haven't opened and viewed that message. So that same message is available for me here as well as in this color bubble. But notice when I click here to open up that message, and I can see Dave's asking to see a property on Saturday afternoon, and I can see the address of the property. To get those details, I can click on my overflow menu. I like to call that my snowman menu, and I can click on view details. Anytime I'm viewing property information here in Paragon Connect, I have a very informative property report. So we're going to talk a little bit about this property report right now, and then we'll see it over and over again throughout the next 45 minutes. I can look at all the photos, and if I'm looking at those thumbnail photos and I want to blow up one of those images, I can just click on it and it automatically does that for me in that main photo view. Of course, I still have that option to scroll back and through those larger photos in this section as well. As I go to my next option, I can see my map view, and this shows me indeed how close to the water this property is. And then anywhere where the Google car went down that street and collected those images, I'm going to have access to Street View. And that means I can walk down the street and get that 360 view based on that Google car that went down that road. So lots of great information. And I am only at the very top of my Paragon Connect property report. I'm going to click back on photos, and as I scroll down, I am going to see all that information I'm used to seeing about a property in Paragon Professional, but way more. So when I scroll down, I can choose to show those details, and that's all those familiar fields that I'm used to seeing. When I don't need to see that, I can collapse this container, meaning I can make that smaller so I can see all my other options that I can also look at. Notice that your agent office information has its own container. And if you were viewing this information on your phone, you'd be easily able to call that listing agent. Of course, you can always email as well, and that's from any device. As I continue working my way down my property report, I'm used to seeing all those documents in Paragon Connect. And of course, I have those here as well. One of the features I like to show off is that you're able to now print all those documents as long as they're a PDF in one print function. In Paragon Professional, you have to like print and then go back and print the next document, go back, and you can't do it all at once. Of course, this is a bad example because we only have that one PDF, but I'll try to find another property that has multiples, because when you select that print PDF, you'll be able to select one or all of them and print it all in one print job. Ooh, and we're going to need to make a note about this, that this has some branded information that is not allowed. So let me just make a little note there. Let's close that up. And this is 4999846. All right. Occasionally I find information I'm not necessarily looking for when I'm in class. We'll also go down to property history. You're used to seeing this information, right? In Paragon Professional, and it's here for you as well. But wait, there's more. Look at these bottom three sections. The owners of Paragon is a company called ICE. They have access to lots of public record information, and whatever they have access to, they are now bringing that public record information into this listing for you. So it's just going to vary from property to property, state to state, what is able to be seen here. But this is information that you don't see in Paragon Professional unless you go out looking for it someplace like CRS. Oh, yeah, you still have access to CRS here in Paragon Connect. I'll show you where that is in just a moment. But first, I want to show you one of my favorite sections of the property report, and it's this community report section. If you're familiar with the Collaboration Center, your contacts have access to this, and I love now in this property report, it has been included because this is great statistical information based on this address. You can click over to the school tab and get some details about schools. What I am particularly fond of, and I know was a question my buyers used to ask when I was a licensed agent, how far is this property from the fire station, the police station, a hospital, CVS, all those places that buyers like to maybe be able to walk to? Well, this property report is taking that off of your hands and providing that information for you for up to 300 nearby establishments. So you can see exactly how far they are, and you can jump to that map view if you need to. You also will notice in the bottom right corner, this is your share option. So when you are using Paragon Connect on a larger device, you're always going to have that option to email or get a link that could then be emailed or embedded in your email signature. If you are maybe wanting to promote your own new listing, that would be a great way to use that link that you can pull up from your property. And then as you go straight up to that top right corner, this is your print option. So right now in Paragon Connect, you can print an agent full and a customer full. And you will anticipate that growing as more and more features are added to Paragon Connect. Paragon Connect is doing updates every 2 weeks. So expect to find new and exciting features, several times a month. Make sure you're always going behind that snowman menu because you never know what exciting feature has been added. As I move my way over to the next icon, that is where I can get my driving directions and I can go to multiple locations from here. We'll close that out and continue working across to our center icon. And this is our third-party integration. So I mentioned CRS. CRS is probably my favorite Prime MLS member benefit because it provides so much additional information on properties. And you have that access into CRS a number of different ways. CRS is also its own standalone database. So you have access right from your Prime MLS dashboard. But then as you can see, it is integrated into Paragon Professional and Paragon Connect as well. So if I wanted to get more details on this property, I could go to CRS and click on that property report option. It's going to open me in a new browser tab, allow me to get that information. Hey, notice that little icon there. This is a great example of that simpatico relationship between Paragon and CRS. I can get Paragon information when I'm in Paragon Connect. I can get CRS information from Paragon Connect and Paragon Professional. And when I'm here in CRS, I can also get Paragon information. Anytime I see that little icon, that's going to let me know the status of that property in Paragon. And as I hover over that icon, I get a clickable MLS number that would open up to that agent full. I get the status of the property, the listing date, and that price as well. And if I click on the address here in CRS, that's going to bring me to my CRS property report, which once again just provides me with additional information on that property. And anytime I'm looking for flood zone information, CRS is my go-to source because I will be able to get this FEMA flood zone information, better descriptive information than just a color change on my map. And even better than that, I have a firm panel ID. I can click on that link and it opens me up right to the source of the information, which is FEMA. Once again, how did I get here? All of a sudden, I'm at the FEMA website, and it was just a few clicks from that property that I pulled up in Paragon Connect. I went up to my third-party integrations, opened that up, clicked the property report for CRS. That brought me right into CRS where I could scroll down to that property and click on that firm panel ID to get that flood zone information. Easy peasy. So we're going to go ahead and close out FEMA and CRS so we don't slow down our system too much. We're going to talk about our next little action icon here in the top right. That thumbs up has to do with the Collaboration Center, and that is for a feature called Agent Recommended. Agent Recommended lets you to manually add a property into your contacts Collaboration Center that is outside of that saved search that's automatically populating in their Collab Center. So maybe I have a contact and they didn't tell me that they were looking for a property in Sunapee, but this property has everything they're looking for. I know it's not going to populate in their Collab Center because it's outside of that saved search. I can use Agent Recommended. That puts this property in their Collab Center, and they'll know that not only have I set up that saved search for them to get information on properties, of course, I'm still searching the MLS for options that might work for them as well. And I can do that via Agent Recommended. We all know that we can save our searches and be able to access that search information to get those results time after time. But you can also save your results. And one of the best ways to do that is via listing cards. So if I maybe was going through the system looking for comparable properties, because I know I'm going to be doing a CMA, as I'm finding those properties that would be a good comp for that property I'm doing the CMA for, I could add them to listing carts, and that would be a great way for me to organize that information and quickly access it when I'm ready to do that CMA. All right, so we've gone through all the information on this property report. And remember, we started this process because Dave said to me, can we see this property on Saturday afternoon? So now that I've looked at all the information about the property, I can say, sure, Dave, I'm happy to meet you there at 2 o'clock. Of course, I'd be setting up that appointment with the listing agent. Notice once I look at this message, it is no longer an unread message. So when I exit out of that, we're going to see that message disappear. But of course, I can always click on that color bubble and it brings me right back there so I can actually send that reply to Dave. As we scroll down here, we notice we have a whole section. This is dedicated to your inventory. So not only the inventory that is active in the system, but also any of your unpublished, or in Paragon Professional, we refer to those as your partial listings. You're going to be able to have access to this section. Now you notice I've got a whole bunch of zeros here, and that's because I don't have any active inventory. Luckily, I have access to a test site that shows me kind of the benefits of this section for you. So I'm just going to jump over to my test site, scroll down, and we'll look at this information that actually has some things we can click on. So this site has 2 active inventory properties. And if I wanted to make some changes, I can click here and I can do that. I am also able to access my inventory from behind the hamburger menu, and that would give me the ability to go down the listings and I could access the inventory from there as well. But there's also a third way, and that would be my sellers tab. When you are utilizing your sellers tab, this is a great way to quickly edit your active listings. And I would have that ability behind that snowman menu. So right now, remember, I have those 2 active listings. If I needed to make any changes, I could click on the snowman menu and that would take me right into my editing options. Of course, these are going to look a little different because they are from a different MLS, but you're going to find all those fields that you're used to seeing in Paragon Professional available for you here in Paragon Connect, and you'd be able to make those edits. There's that snowman menu once again. So remember to always click on that, and this brings up all those features that you're used to. We're going to actually show you some photo editing features that you have here in Paragon Connect that you do not have access in Paragon Professional. So I'll be showing that on my phone towards the end of the webinar. But notice you can also assign a contact from here and also from that main menu. This is how you give your sellers access to the Collaboration Center. So we'll come back and we'll talk about that towards the end of the webinar. But just as you're setting up those buyers with those saved searches, you want to make sure that you are giving your sellers access. I'm going to take advantage of another feature of Paragon Connect. Here in my top left corner, I've got my back arrow. And as I click on that, that takes me right back to my previous screen. And this is also where I can assign that contact to their property, thus giving my sellers that access to the Collaboration Center. We'll come back and we'll do that at the end of the webinar. So let's jump back into our other view of Paragon Connect. And now let's talk about those quick actions. This is where we have that secondary access to our power search button that also lives in our top right corner, and also that map based search that we can also access from our top right corner. We can jump right into residential listings. You can edit your listings, and that would be partials and unpublished and published listings. And you can create a listing right from your Paragon Connect homepage. You can jump to all your saved searches. And when I point this out, I like to remind everybody, remember, it's one database. Two different views of that database. So Paragon Connect is one view, the more modern view that has some features that you don't have in Paragon Professional. And then Paragon Professional is that second view of that database. So if you have saved searches in Paragon Professional, you have that access to those same saved searches here in Paragon Connect and vice versa. So Property Watch, that's another feature. This is available in both Paragon Connect and Paragon Professional. I'll show you Property Watch when we open up the map, and I will show you how you can select a property that is off market, and Property Watch is going to give you updates if there is a change in the adjustable rate mortgage, if there's a change in ownership, valuation, or if there's any foreclosure or tax delinquency information that attaches to that property. Property Watch allows you to watch for this information on off-market properties, meaning properties that are not in the Paragon system. And then there's that access into your listing carts. We showed you that little icon where you can start creating those carts, and then you can easily access those saved results. So let's start using the system. If we go up to our power search, I can open that up, and you'll notice one slight difference of your power search here in Paragon Connect versus Paragon Professional is that you need to start typing some information. Now, I think we all know that power search is a great way to quickly find an MLS number, or if we start putting in an address, that's going to give us that information. But remember, you can also use Power Search to find information on your contacts, on your saved searches, on other members of Prime MLS and other offices of Prime MLS. So I'm ultimately searching for my contact, Dave Grohl. I could also go behind my hamburger menu, go down to contacts, and then click on Dave's name from there. But I'm all about showing you how to access the information as quickly as possible. And my Power Search gives me that option. I can type in DAV, and first the system's going to find me all those potential matches based on address. There's my contact with what I'm looking for. But as I scroll down, notice I can also see other members of Prime MLS that have DAV in their name. And I'd be able to click on this information. And once again, if I was on my phone, I could call them, or I could just get their contact information or send them an email right from here. If I needed to find office information, this is also a quick and easy way to do that instead of going behind the hamburger menu and going down to that section. So once again, this just saves me some time. I can click on Dave's name. Now I'm in his collaboration center. I can email him. I can give him a call if I'm on my phone. I can look at what he sees when he's in his collaboration center. That's what that little globe icon is. And then if I needed to add or delete any information from his contact information, I can do that here. Delete will remove Dave completely, and that is removing him from the database. In Paragon Connect, in Paragon Professional, you really only want to use delete if you've accidentally added somebody more than once, because even after your folks find that property and they no longer want to get those automatic emails for the Collab Center, you don't want to delete their information. You want to keep that and use that as a way to keep in touch with your contacts. So use delete sparingly, because if you choose this function, that contact and all the information attached to them is gone and gone forever. I can additionally come in here and see more information about Dave, but we'll talk about that more when we talk about contacts in the Collaboration Center. So I'm going to use my back arrow. That's going to take me right back here. I can exit out. Now I'm right back on my home page. We can talk about that map-based function. When I open up my map, it's going to open up based on my location. And I'm going to notice a lot of information on this map, because not only is this a multi-class search, so it's showing me all my different classes, I haven't narrowed it down, so it's also showing me all my statuses, and it's based on this location. I can start filtering information a couple of different ways. Down in my bottom right corner, I've got my plus and minus arrows. If I want to zoom in more, I can use that plus function, and notice that changes how many results I'm seeing on the map. As I zoom out, that's going to show me more. Makes sense, right? I can also kind of drag the map around, and as I let the properties populate, it's going to populate once again based on the area that's showing on my map. So those are a couple of ways that you can find information and filter what you see. But the best way to filter is use your filter icon. That's in the top right corner. If you open up that filter icon now, instead of seeing all the classes and all the statuses, I can tell the system exactly what I want to see. So if I'm only interested in seeing, we'll say active and my pending under contract information, just because there's so little out there and I want to have some information on my map, I can make those selections, and you can see I'm already narrowing it down. Let's also just choose the class of residential and multifamily. Once I have that information in, I can hit apply, and now I'm going to see different information, much, much fewer results because I've narrowed that down. But once again, remember, I can zoom out, and that's going to start populating more information. I can also move around on the map. So I'm going to come over here to a more populated area of Concord. Notice I have some different colored flags on my map. That lets me know the status, but I can click on any of these flags and that would show me that property report. So as I click on that flag, the green one is an active property, and I can see that here. One of the newest features of Paragon Connect is the ability, even from the map, to scroll through your options and select them. So instead of just having that option just to send this one property, now I can select and share multiple property information by going all through those results, selecting what works for me, going back previous, maybe I want to pick up one more, this one, and now I've selected 3 properties. And because I am on that larger screen, I have that ability to either email it out or get that link that I can do whatever I want with. Remember, when I'm doing this on my phone, I'll have that third option to be able to text. Let's exit out of this section and get back to our map. I also want to remind you that your map in Paragon Connect functions very similar to your map in Paragon Professional. So you can have up to 7 shapes on your map, and I can draw those shapes with my little paintbrush here. So if I wanted to narrow down a section on my map, I can click on the paintbrush. I've got my freehand option. Polygon is going to, those 2 options are going to let me draw whatever shape I want on the map. Rectangle will do those square or rectangular shapes. And then radius obviously is going to do that perfect circle. I tend to either use a polygon shape or a freehand. So anytime I want to turn with the polygon, I just click, and I'm drawing those straight lines to get the shape on the map I want. Notice once I put my shape on the map, all the other properties are removed. And from here, if I wanted to save it, I have my disk icon, and that's how I save here in Paragon Connect. So I could come up and I could save this for myself, or I could even start the process of saving this and attaching it to a contact, which we'll be doing in just a moment. I'm not going to save this information, but remember, I could have up to 7 shapes on the map, and I don't have to kind of scooch around on my map to go to another location. I can use my location option, which is that magnifying glass. When I open that up, I can tell the map to take me to a specific address, point of interest, another city. Make sure you're always including the state though, because this is the Google map behind here. So as I start typing in, because I have typed and selected Manchester, New Hampshire, it does populate first. And I've also got that point of interest of, the airport. So if I wanted to go right there, I could select I could close out that and I could draw another shape on the map and start collecting additional information on this location. And I could have up to 7 shapes. Don't forget, you have your options down in the bottom left corner, and this allows you to look at different map views. You can also turn on your parcel layers or turn them off. And this is also where you can turn your flood zones on. So if you turn on flood zones, you close this out, you don't see it, it's probably just because you're zoomed out too much. Notice as I zoom out, I don't see those flood zones anymore, but then when I zoom in, they do start to populate. You'll also notice that my parcel lines were already showing. And once again, the more I zoom in, the more I see those parcel lines. I have my parcel line set to always show. That's something I set up in Paragon Professional in my preferences. The reason being is I like to be able to click on that parcel and get additional information. So notice right now, this is completely outside of my search results. I'm just clicking on this property that's kind of close to the Merrimack River. Maybe I might need some more flood zone information on that. Well, I can get more information. When I click on the property, it brings me up to that address. And if I wanted to use Property Watch, that's that feature that alerts me with those off-market properties, change in adjustable rate mortgage, ownership, valuation, foreclosure, tax delinquency information. I have that access to start using that on this property. And I can have up to 100 properties that I am watching using Property Watch. I can also get the details of the property here, and that's just going to be whatever public record information is able to be found by Paragon's parent company, ICE. And notice I have that third party integration tab available. So that means I can click here and I can jump into that CRS property report, once again, getting more public record information about that property. And that is just by clicking on that parcel on that map. All right, I think we have talked about all these great features on the map, with the exception of one other one. I want to point out the little comb icon. This allows me to look at my results in a different view. So if I am wanting to go to a spreadsheet view, I can click here. And of course, just like in Paragon Professional, my spreadsheet is customizable. So anytime you see that gear icon, that means you can customize, you can add, remove, and you can rearrange your spreadsheet. You can also click on any of these headers and organize your information on your spreadsheet. When you're organizing the information based on clicking on the header, you can just do one column at a time. But if I'm looking at my statuses here, notice how they're all jumbled up. If I click on that status, it's first going to organize them now, A to Z. If I reverse that, of course, it does it Z to A. I like to have it, alphabetical. One more click takes it back to that unorganized mess, which I absolutely hate. So we'll click that one more time. And now I'm seeing first my active, then my active under contract, then my pendings. And I do like that organization feature. If I wanted to switch and now see properties based on price, I can do that with that same column as well. And not only can I view on my spreadsheet, I could also go to my thumbnail view. And this once again allows me to select multiple properties and share. And then of course I can always click on that photo to get those property details, showing me that great property report here in Paragon Connect. I'm going to exit out of here and we are going to go back to our home page. So I'll just click on the hamburger menu, click home, and now we're back here. I want to jump down to my quick actions and talk about running a residential search. So when I click on that residential search, it does usually bring me to my map. Let's try that once again. Let's go back home. Maybe I clicked on the wrong thing. I'm sure it was user error. Let's try residential search. There we go. This is the same as me going up to my hamburger menu, going into properties, and then looking at residential search here, which reminds me, I need to talk to you about Hotsheets. Remember, I said I would give you a little more details and tell you why you're going to love Hotsheets. Well, Hotsheets, and remember, that's that little icon in the top right corner on my home page. It has a little pink dot on it. And that's because you can set up to 5 of your hot sheets with alerts. So when you log into Paragon Connect, you're going to know that there's new information on one of those 5 hot sheets for you to check out. I like to think of your hot sheets as your market monitor on steroids because your market monitor lives back in Paragon Professional. It's on the Paragon Professional homepage. You can only customize it to one location. So if you wanted to look at like a whole county, you could do that. Or if you wanted to just look at a few towns that you consider your market area, you can just set up that market monitor to show you that information. Here in Paragon Connect, you are not limited. You could have a hot sheet that mimics what you see on your market monitor. So maybe kind of a broad area, but you can have unlimited hot sheets and you can be watching all different kinds of things. So if you wanted to have one specifically to show you properties that come back on the market in Nashua, you can do that. You can narrow that down so specific that if there is a particular agent who tends to dominate one neighborhood and you want to keep track of their new listings, you can do that on your Paragon Connect hot sheets. So be sure to check out your Paragon Connect tab on your Prime MLS help desk. And that's where that video on setting up those hot sheets and utilizing those alerts to watch lots of different geographic locations and get specific or very broad pieces of information. Anytime that you have more options, I'm a big fan of that. And really, your Paragon Connect hot sheets are all about giving you options. So I'll use that back arrow and we'll get back to our search section, which is known as properties here in Paragon Connect. Notice you have all your different classes broken out here and you have access to all of your saved searches for all of the classes. So if I go into that residential search, I'm going to see all the same fields that I'm used to seeing in Paragon Professional. So as I'm scrolling down, I can see all those fields. I can open up my date ranges, and this has all the same information as I'm used to seeing in Paragon Professional. It's just laid out a little different. Notice I have my icons at the top here, and this is where I can save my my binoculars. That's going to be great when I'm on a smaller screen. So instead of scrolling down and opening up those dates, I could just use my binoculars. I could type in dates, and that's going to bring me right to that section. Close that out. Let's put some information in our search fields, and then we'll be able to utilize our criteria, our search criteria, which is that center section, which center icon, which is kind of grayed out right now because we don't have any information on our search template, so we can't utilize our criteria summary. I'm going to start just putting some basic information. Active, I'm looking for active properties. Notice I have those same options that I'm used to seeing in Paragon Professional. So as I start typing, I can select that status, or I can use my equals or not equal to options to change, the results that I want to see based on the search I'm running. Or if I want to see all the potential fields, all the potential criteria I could put in this field. I can use that little inverted triangle, and then I could even multi-select here, apply, and that's going to put that information here. Another little feature in Paragon Connect that I'm a fan of, that big X, if I click on that, it removes all the information in that field, as opposed to when I just have one status, I can always click to remove just that one. All right, so we're going to do a basic search. So we want to look for active properties in New Hampshire. We won't limit it by price. we will look in the county of Merrimack and the town of Concord. So I'll select that. And now I've got that information on my search template, and the system is finding me 27 active residential properties in Concord. And I'm going to see that information in my top left corner by my hamburger menu. If I were to narrow this down and only see those condos that are active in Concord, now I can see I have 8 results. And if I wanted to look at those results, I could click search, and that's going to bring me to first that thumbnail. I could switch to the map, to the spreadsheet, or even get those analytics that I'm used to seeing running across the top of my spreadsheet in Paragon Professional. So I can scroll down and get this information right from here. I can go back to any of one of these other options. So we'll go back to the thumbnail. And then if I wanted to go back to my search, I can do that as well. So we'll just use that back arrow. And I can see now I can look at my criteria summary. That criteria summary is going to show me why I only have 8 properties. And that's because these are the fields that I have information in. So if I wanted to change this, I can certainly do that. If I click on my criteria summary again, it's going to bring me back to all of my fields that I could continue to put information in. This little folder here will show me all my saved residential searches. And then that feature that we're used to seeing in Paragon Professional, for my last 15 searches, I'm able to see my last 5 here in Paragon Connect. I can also come in and customize, meaning I can add, remove, and rearrange my fields as they're showing here. And I can even add additional containers. And I'll be going into all these functions tomorrow morning under Beyond the Basics, customizing a map-based search, and then customizing results and reports. From here, remember I said I can start I can save this information and I can attach it to a contact so they can start getting information and access to the Collaboration Center. So once I have my search here, if I wanted to save it for myself, I'd click on my disk icon, I'd give it a name, and then I would hit save. Anytime I am saving for a contact, I always like to make my save search meaningful because I can have up to 500 saved searches per contact. Not that you're ever going to have that many, but this is so you can set yourself up as a contact and watch lots of different areas. So if I was saving this for a contact, I would call this my Concord condo search. And then I always like to put my contact's last name. So we'll save this for Brian Bates. And now that I've got that name in there, I can click Assign Contact. And if Brian was one of my contacts, I'd be able to select him from this list. He's not. If I scroll down, I can see he's still not here. I can add him. The only thing I need to add a contact is first name, last name, email address. B-R-I-A-N, not T. Let's spell that correctly. Bates. And then I'm going to put in his address. And if there was a secondary or spouse that should also have access, I'd be able to add their first and last name, their email address, and toggle on the Collab Center access for them. There's not, so I'm going to hit save. And all I need to do now is confirm I'm happy with this name. Maybe I want to make that a capital so I can change that. This lets me know that the Collaboration Center is turned on. And I always like to set up my contacts here in Paragon Connect, because if I do it in Paragon Professional, I have to remember to send that first email out that lets my contact know that his Collaboration Center is up and running and there are properties available. So to let Brian know that there were these 8 properties to see. If I had started this property process in Paragon Professional, I'd have to send that welcome email. Here in Paragon Connect, the system does it all for me, and I'm a huge fan of that. Don't need to put in any additional information because the automatic email that goes out lets Brian know everything he needs to know about his Collab Center. I can hit save, and from here, I will be able to go under my contacts and we'll be able to see that Brian now has access to those 8 properties. So if I go to contacts, I can see Brian's name. I can see that he's been added. If I had added his phone number, I'd have easy access to call him on my phone. I can email him and I can see his collaboration center is up and running and he has access to all of this great information. I will close out of here. One thing I like to point out, if you wanted to see that automatic email that goes out to your client, you can go down to message history, go into that section, and this is where you'll see all those emails that go out, either the manual ones that you send to that client or the automatic ones from the system. And now I'm seeing exactly what Brian sees when he gets those emails. Now, the last few minutes, I want to first show you how we can start creating a new listing, and then I'm going to hop on my phone to show you how you can put more information in that unpublished listing, and then we'll finish with giving your sellers access to the Collaboration Center. So I'm going to exit out of here. I'm going to go back. I didn't actually mean to do that. Let me jump back into the system real quick, but that's okay. I saved all that information. So I'm just jumping back into Paragon. I could easily go back here and see those contacts. I'd be able to see that Brian was added, but I can also start that process of adding a unpublished listing. So if I want to create that listing, I can do that right from here. And I always want to take advantage of CRS, that public record database. Not only does it autofill some public record information into this unpublished listing, but it also syncs my listing so that when people are looking at my property in CRS, they will see those little icons letting them know that it is also in Paragon. So anytime I want to use CRS, I click on that autofill. I make sure the state is correct. I hit select. You always start with county. So I'm going to find a property that's in Hillsborough, and then I can either find that property by street name or owner's last name. If I have a very common owner's last name, I can narrow that down. By city would be my best option. And with street name, I can also narrow those results down by street number. That is typically how I find the property. So I'm looking for this property on Elmwood Ave, and the street number is 4. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in. Let's hit enter. And now I can find that property. Why did we find no properties? Let's look at this. Hillsborough, that's correct. Let's try this again real quick. There we go. Weird glitch. I am looking for 4 Elmwood Ave in Manchester. The reason why the system found me these 2 properties is because in Hillsborough County, there are 2 properties that have 4 Elmwood in their address. So now I can click autofill, confirm it is indeed a residential property, hit create, and now it's going to take me right into those listing input fields. And if I open up a section like location, I can see that information is already saved. Anytime I'm working in the system, I always like to save as I go so I can continue to save this as an unpublished listing. And now let's jump onto my phone and I can show you how I can easily pull this up. Let me mirror here. There we go. I'll bring this over. So now you're seeing my phone. I have added Paragon Connect as an app. And so I have that information right from here. I've also added it as a shortcut. So if I wanted to get to any of my dashboard information, I would use that shortcut. And then from my dashboard, I could click on Paragon Connect. I'm going to go here and oops, it's already has me logged in. So I like to show you the full process. I'll log out. This is what I'm going to see. Notice I have facial recognition here. So any moment, there we go. It's going to recognize my face. And now it's going to open me up into Paragon Connect. Remember, anytime I'm using a smaller screen, I have to scroll down, but I'm going to see that same information. It's just taking a moment to populate all that center information with my contacts. And hey, there's my newest contact, Brian Bates. If I want to access that unpublished listing, because now maybe I'm meeting with that seller at his property and I'm doing that CMA. I used to always say, go into in Paragon Professional, go up to the top right corner and access your Paragon listing forms, print those out and take those to that CMA, that meeting with the owner, so you could start collecting information about the property. You now no longer have to do that because you can pull up Paragon Connect on your phone and you can go into that unpublished listing. So this is the one I just added. When I click on that photo, here are all those fields, and I can just start selecting what this property has. How many times have you sat in front of your computer screen and tried to remember, oh, heck, did it have a dishwasher? Was that a gas dryer or an electric dryer? Was it an electric stove or a gas stove? So if I have Paragon Connect open on my phone, I can start putting in all that information, hit apply, and it's going to save for me. I could even go down to those remarks and disclosure fields because those are free form fields. If I wanted to just start making notes in my public remarks about, great landscaping, I could just start putting things like that in and it would start building that information. And of course, I would just be saving as an unpublished. And then when I get back to the office on a larger screen, I can continue building out this unpublished listing. But remember, there was a few more things we wanted to show you. So I'm going to hop into properties. I'm going to go into residential and I'm going to pull up one of my last 5 searches so you can see that property report here on my phone. So I can click on that property and notice my share tab here. I can click on that and now you can see where I can easily text out this one listing. Or remember, I have that feature where I can select and then go to those next properties, select, maybe skip over 1 or 2. Maybe I want to send out these 3 now from my phone. I can either email or I can text that information on those 3 properties together. The other thing I wanted to show here on my phone was also, let's see, that photo editing that you have. So if I go back to that unpublished listing, let's do that real quick. And we can go into listings, unpublished. If I was at the property meeting with that seller, I could take a few photos and then I can easily update those photos by clicking on that little inlay and plus, come on. And I can go right to my photo library. Let's see, and let's go right to my albums. Got some real estate photos. Now, once again, I'm saving myself some time. Instead of uploading from my phone to my computer into the system, I am just going right from my phone right into that listing. So I can select those ones I want to upload. I can add those and they're going to populate right in there. Now, whether you are on your phone or a larger device, you have some phone editing, some photo editing capabilities here in Paragon Connect. And I like to show you that real quick. I'll click on one of the photos. I can go behind the hamburger menu, the snowman menu, image editor, and this is where I have those new options. If I wanted to write on the property, I can do that. I can add text on the property from here. And then here is where I have those filters. So if I need to brighten up the property, I can do that here. I can change grayscale, sepia, save changes. And then of course, if I'm ever unhappy with a photo, I can always revert it back to the original. Last thing I want to show you is giving your contacts access as a seller to the Collab Center. I will show you that takes 2 minutes. So I am jumping back into that test site. And remember, now we are on that sellers tab. So if I wanted to edit the information on the listing, I can do that here. And I can quickly and easily give my sellers access to Collab Center, which gives them great statistical information about how their property's doing. When I click on that plus, if my seller is already a contact, I can select their name. Or just like I add Brian, I could add myself as the seller to this property. First name, last name, email address. That's all we ever need to set up that option. So if I wanted to have my auto notifications or agent preview on, ooh, that's a new feature that they're putting there. Not applicable for sellers. So we'll just disregard that for now. All I need to do is have that seller's email address, and we'll do my work address. So Wendy at primemls.com. And now I can save. You're going to immediately see that that person is connected. And if you want to send your seller updates daily or once a week to check out what they see in their Collab Center, you can do that. You can also give yourself those same emails. Completely up to you if you want to do that. And then you're going to see that that contact is assigned, but I didn't save it. So as soon as you save that, you will be able to do that. So let me click on my name, hit save, and now we will see that I'm assigned. And if I have a photo, I'll see the photo of my seller there, or I will see their initials. And once your sellers have access to the Collaboration Center, you can jump right into their Collab Center and see what they see. They're going to be able to see agent views in Paragon versus potential buyer views in the Collaboration Center. They get that little overlay the first time, and they're going to see those views on this graph for 14, 30, and 90 days. And then down here for the life of the listing. If anybody's made their property a favorite, possible, rejected, they'll see numbers there in those circles. Undecided means it's just in that center section and it hasn't been filtered into favorite, possible, or rejected. Have agents use that agent recommended feature? They'll see a real-time number there. Real estate agent views in save searches in Paragon or Paragon Professional, Paragon Connect, or potential buyers having their property in a save search in the Collab Center. They'll see those numbers. General social media activity. They've got a competition button that will show properties similar to theirs in a 10-mile radius so they can keep an eye on their competition. And if your sellers are buying through you as well, they've got access into their buyer section of the Collab Center. One collaboration center with all great information for both your sellers and your buyers. And you can see why we need 2 hours to talk about this class because I have gone over. Thank you for giving me some extra time this morning. I hope you'll join me next month where we can take an even deeper dive and we have a little bit more time to go over all these great features that are available for you in Paragon Connect. If you have any additional questions, feel free to type those into the chat box. Otherwise, feel free to log off. I'll get that quiz out to you within the next half hour. And I hope you have a terrific rest of your day and a fabulous weekend.